allocation away. We've sold out our
We did our part.
castle of tickets. Yes, we absolutely have, Dom. I even bought my wife and a friend a pair of tickets, her and her girlfriend. And then my wife says, "Oh, I can't make it." But even that lone singular ticket has been accounted for now, Dom. I got no tickets for you people. You should have taken advantage last week. Where were you? We gave away lots of tickets. Very excited to go down there. Charlie Barron's interviewing Mike Wagner. And if you missed the event, here's the good news. You can hear it for free, noon on Saturday and Sunday. And the topic, Dom, the Wisconsin Supreme Court race a week from tomorrow will be April 4th, the most important spring election in your lifetime. Now, I'm very excited about that.
Absolutely, Charlie, getting them psyched up, getting the college kids out to vote. I hope we can do better than the primary. I mean, a record number of folks came out on the primary, 20%. Let's make it higher than that.
Hey, baby, we had like 36% here in Dane County, Madison. We're going to do far better than that in the general election. Have no doubt. We're going to bring home a victory for Janet Protasewicz, but only if you vote. Tell about 100 friends. Dom, the advertising, the mud.
Yes.
The mud is being slung. And I want to talk first about the new Janet Protasewicz ad. Apparently, we have been supplied, we here at Civic Media, we're in the advertising business, Tom. Sometimes we even do some politics. And I'm very encouraged to hear the newest ad from the Protasewicz campaign. And Dirty Dan Kelly. Now there's sort of a cowboy theme going on here as well. But Dirty Dan, I mean, basically she calls him everything short of a scoundrel, although she does call him corrupt
and dirty. I mean, scoundrels are corrupt and dirty. I think that kind of goes there. Dirty Dan. I mean, she's kind of trumping him out right now. You know what I mean? Give him his own moniker.
Well, I think she did. Yeah. Let's hope this one sticks to Dirty Dan. Let's hear it for the people. E-Bone, I know you've been doing the work. Let's play the newest, and this one sent over to Civic Media. So this one's for free, Protasewicz campaign. Played for the people.
There goes Dirty Dan Kelly, riding off into the sunset of his pathetic, dishonest campaign. He's badly trailing Judge Janet Protasewicz. So Dan and his friends are trying to pickle your brain with lies, because they don't want you to know the truth. That for all his tough talk on crime, Dan Kelly has never sentenced a single criminal to jail. Not one, partner. Some tough guy. Even a bar association rated him, quote, not qualified. I'm guessing that's because Kelly is corrupt as a termite-infested house. You heard about the Zignego case, right? The one where Kelly recused himself, then took $20,000 from Zignego and his family. Then Kelly unrecused himself so he could judge the case. Boy, if honesty were leather, Dan Kelly couldn't saddle a flea. So don't hitch your wagon to Dirty Dan's rotten ride. He's just too corrupt.
Paid for by Janet for Justice.
Oh, gee. Dirty Dan's rotten ride, man. Don't go to the carnival and ride that one. I'm just saying.
The one that got me doing a spit take here in the Solidarity Realty Studios, didn't mean to disrespect you, but the corrupted is a house full of termites, Dom.
Dirty, pathetic, dishonest. He wants to pickle your brain. Never sentenced anyone to jail. Some tough guy. Yes, very, very critical and name-calling of Judge Janet's campaign.
I actually like this one.
Yeah.
I mean, it's lighter toned. It's kind of fun. Cowboy themed, Dirty Dan themed. Dom, let's, in E-Bone, are we ready for the Dan Kelly contrast? Because Dan Kelly on his social media, unfortunately, Dom, apparently he's found some financial shortfalls, must rely on the charity of billionaire friends to decide what campaign ads to run. But Dan Kelly dropped one on his Twitter account. And this one kind of stinks, Dom. This one harkens to the Willie Horton ad. And we'll tell you a little bit more about it. There's some coverage here. Henry Redmond from the Wisconsin Examiner. But first, let's play it for the people. This is a visual thing. I will tell you, the color scheme identical to the one that had Bush and Dukakis, in comparing and contrasting them on crime. 1988, I think this was the very first time I ever got to vote. So, E-Bone, are you almost ready? I'm going to put you down for soon. I don't hear
the
you.
video on his Twitter actually isn't working right, so I'm going to have to find it somewhere else.
Dan Kelly. Do we blame that on Elon Musk? Twitter is not being supported any longer.
Dirty Dan Kelly.
I hear they're doing it open source code style at Twitter. At least their codes have been exposed. Let's start with the reporting. Maybe we'll come back to the playout. We'll describe it for you, folks. Again, Henry Redmond at the Wisconsin Examiner. Conservative former Supreme Court Justice by wanker appointment. Always want to make sure we get that clarity out there. Dan Kelly's campaign for a vacant seat on the Wisconsin Supreme Court is running an ad on social media that is nearly a shot-for-shot remake of the Willie Horton ad run by supporters of former President George H.W. Bush during his 88 presidential race. I might have mentioned the wrong Bush. I apologize. It was H.W. Bush against who? Michael Dukakis. First man I ever voted for, Dom.
Crudy, the original ad was widely derided as racist for its use of Horton's mugshot and conflation of blackness with criminality. The ad attacks Dukakis for soft on crime policies because of his support for Massachusetts' weekend furlough program, which allowed people in prison to leave for a day or more to go to work or home. While out of prison as part of this program, which began under Republican governor, Horton, a convicted murderer, was able to escape and went on to sexually assault a woman and stab her fiancé in a 1987 home invasion. The 1988 ad showed photos of Bush, Dukakis, and Horton over a simple blue background while a narrator detailed the candidate's view on the death penalty and Horton's actions. The ad remains a symbol for the use of dog whistle racism as a tactic to scare white voters during political campaigns. On Tuesday, Kelly's official Twitter account posted his campaign's version of the ad, which shows pictures of Kelly and his liberal opponent, Milwaukee County Judge Janet Protasewicz, over a simple blue background, while our narrator details the sentence she offered to Quintrell Bounds, a Thiensville man who sexually assaulted a 13-year-old girl and posted a video of the incident to Facebook. The ad, which also includes a filter to make the video appear as if it's played on a VHS tape and match the period-specific look of the original, states Protasewicz lets criminals off easy. When asked about why the campaign recreated the infamous ad, Kelly campaign spokesperson Ben Vogel did not give an answer, only saying Wisconsin voters needed to know about Protasewicz's sentencing record. Quote, "The people of Wisconsin need to know the truth about Janet Protasewicz's soft on crime record and unreliable lack of judgment." We have it. We're ready for it. Let's play the new version of the Willie Horton, man. I mean, the racist comes back and around. Now, I would note, when I looked at the actual video, there is not, that I did notice, and maybe you guys can check, a mugshot side by side of the convicted felon in this case. But either way, let's hear what he has to say.
Daniel Kelly and Janet Protasewicz on crime. Justice Kelly supports enforcing the rule of law and keeping our communities safe. As a Milwaukee judge, Janet Protasewicz has a long history of letting dangerous criminals off easy. One was Quintrell Bounds, who assaulted and raped a 13-year-old girl, recorded it, and posted a video of the act to Facebook. Despite facing 60 years in prison, Judge Janet refused to give Bounds any prison time at all. No prison for child rapists. That's Janet Protasewicz on crime. Daniel Kelly and Janet Protasewicz on crime.
I mean, the audio even sounds like it's old school off of a replayed old VHS tape that people use to record their shows over and over and over again. But why hold the Willie Horton ad up as something that you want to copy, that you want to duplicate? Well, it seems pretty obvious to me who he's trying to reach.
Who do you think he's trying to reach, Tom? If it's clear to you, clarify for
the
me.
Racist, Crudy, the people that would look at that ad and remember, hey, that's what George H.W. did to Dukakis with the Willie Horton. Now, too bad, I guess, to their point, they don't have the mugshot of the convict up there. But yes, that is who, in my opinion, they are absolutely trying to reach. Why would you do this?
I'm still hearing an ad in the background, E-Bone. Let's kill it. Folks, we are the Devil's Advocates radio show. It's a Charlie Barron's Monday edition. I'm going to the show. Hope you got tickets. Comedy Club on State, 7:30. Live taping of the Cripes Cast. But if you miss it, it'll play out free for you right here on the Civic Media Network this Saturday and again on Sunday. Come back. We'll offer your opportunity to join us on the airwaves. It doesn't cost you nothing. 844-967-2789. Dirty Dan. Doing the Willie Horton. You know, it worked for HW. That was what, the Lee Atwater Southern strategy kind of replaying itself? Maybe it works here in Wisconsin. Certainly seemingly worked for Ron Johnson and Della Barnes. Come back with us. More Devils. We look forward to your phone call. Could be next.
Here's that song again. Here's that song again. For the 100th time today, here's that song again. It's gonna be stuck in your head all day. Yay! Here's that song again. It will make you cray cray.
You love your kids.
Sorry about that. Are we coming back in with Rainbow Land?
Love them enough to make sure they're
Sure.
in the right car seat for their age and size. Show them you love them. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
What is dedication?
I think a parent's job is to protect our children, but also prepare them for the world so they become good, kind human beings.
That's dedication. Find out more at fatherhood.gov.
The Devil's Advocates.
Today, I made a mental note. It was 1:09 Central Time when I found out Ron Johnson was a conspirator in a coup, a traitor to the Constitution, and Ron's been something of an apologist. You know, they seem real friendly. Well, maybe to you, Ron, because you were on the inside of the coup, and I've never made that accusation prior to today. So let's play it for the people.
This staffer stated that Senator Johnson wished to hand-deliver the fake electors' votes from Michigan and Wisconsin.
Follow the Devil's Advocates on Facebook and Twitter.
With one call, the Civic Media Network of stations can deliver your business's message to the entire state of Wisconsin or your hometown. Marketing plans that work for your business. One call can do it all. Civic Media, 608-819-8255.
Here's your Mad Radio forecast. High temperatures reach up to 53 this afternoon under overcast skies. Southwest winds 8 to 15 miles an hour. Overcast skies tonight. Mixed precipitation likely. Lows around 32. Mixed precipitation likely tomorrow. Daytime highs approaching 42. A dusting of snow tonight through tomorrow with another inch Friday night. For Civic Media, I'm meteorologist Derek Height. Currently, it's 39 degrees.
Come on. When they go low, we get high. The Devil's Advocates.
In a rainbow land where everything goes as planned, and I smile.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show. You can join us on the lines for your takes at 844-967-2789.
How did Rainbow Land, the song, become a controversy? What in the hell's going on, Waukesha?
Waukesha.
Now, we play out in that fine market, WAUK. We're based, right in downtown Waukesha. And there is some reporting that is troubling to me because, you got to let some things go. Righties. Here's what I see. Waukesha District won't allow Rainbow Land by Miley Cyrus. Feels strange coming out of my mouth. Miley Cyrus. I don't say that word much. Dolly Parton for a first grade concert, and their teacher is perplexed, as am I. Is this a problem? Seemed like a pretty positive song. Yeah, I'm not all down for Miley, but what's the problem, Tom? The song, should I tell you or you want to tell me?
I'll start it off, Crudy. Hannah Kirby reporting at the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel. The song Rainbow Land, a duet by Miley Cyrus and Dolly Parton, has been disallowed from a first grade spring concert at Waukesha's higher elementary school because of concerns it would be controversial, leaving students who had hoped to sing it and their teacher disappointed and confused. Melissa Temple, a first grade dual language teacher at Heiser, said she understood the song might be part of the concert, so she played it for her students. It's such a fun song, and they just immediately took to it, Temple said. The students wanted to hear it over and over again. Temple later found out the proposed song had been dropped. We just really feel bad because the kids were so excited about it. It's just really confusing. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense, she said. A statement from the district said a different teacher had suggested the song to a music teacher for inclusion in the concert. The music teacher then checked with the principal, Mark Schneider. The statement says Schneider went over the song together and alongside a central office administrator to see if it met the criteria of the district's controversial issues in the classroom policy. What? They determined the song would be controversial.
Why?
The school board was never involved. The district
in Rainbow Land. You can't make me live in Rainbow Land. This is the most.
I do not want to live in Rainbow Land, and you can't make me.
It seems quite logical. If you've ever seen the movie The Campaign, people losing their freaking minds about what a manifesto Rainbow Land that some kid drew in crayon in 5th grade or something. This seems about as logical. This is not controversial.
The school district, let me a little more here, Kurt. The school district of Waukesha Superintendent Jim Siebert told Fox 6 the decision was made based on, quote, whether it was appropriate for the age and maturity level of the students and because of social and personal impacts on them. The district's decision can be seen as a part of become a nationwide quarrel over education that appears to be as much about politics as about learning and child development. Divisions have erupted along conservative and liberal lines over how race, history, gender are taught, and how LGBTQ students and issues are treated in the schools. Most recently, a Florida principal was forced out of her job in part because parents were not properly notified of 6th grade art students viewing Michelangelo's David. Some parents object to children that age seeing a nude form. The principal said one parent referred to the artistic masterpiece as pornographic. But let's get back to this Rainbow Land. In the case of Rainbow Land, no administrators are explaining, at least publicly, what could be considered offensive. When asked why she thought the song was pulled, Temple told the Journal Sentinel, quote, I really don't know. There's so many different things it could be. We do have a controversial content policy within our district, and it's a little bit vague, so it's hard to know exactly what the district would say is controversial or not. Temple said she heard through the grapevine that part of the problem had to do with Miley Cyrus being the performer. After playing the wholesome role of Hannah Montana on Disney Channel, Parton's goddaughter has courted controversy while continuing to grow in popularity. Musical artists often do things that are very controversial, Temple said, so that would be a really strange way to approach the controversial topic. How would you sing pretty much any song? Everyone's got something in their past that might be controversial.
Not me.
No. In 2017, Parton told Taste of Country that the song on Cyrus's 2017 album, Younger Now, is really about if we could love one another a little better or be a little kinder, be a little sweeter, we could live in Rainbow Land. It's really just about dreaming and hoping that we could all do better, she said. It's a good song for the times right now. Yeah, not in Waukesha, apparently, Crudy.
I do not want to live in Rainbow Land.
Rudy, some of the lyrics Temple especially appreciated were, quote, wouldn't it be nice to live in paradise where we're free to be exactly who we are? Let's all dig deep down inside, brush the judgment and fear aside, make wrong things right, and end the fight. Temple says that's like the core of what we teach at school or what anybody teaches. You can be who you are. You should be proud of what you look like and how you learn, and that everyone has differences that we can all appreciate, and that no one's the same. So you shouldn't be afraid to be yourself around other people. For the May concert, Rainbow Land was replaced with Rainbow Connection from the Muppet movie. Now, I would note on this article has been updated at the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel, because when I first initially posted it, and I don't know what's going on here, but this part is no longer, at least as I can tell, within the article. As it was reported initially, let me pull up your Rainbow Land was replaced with Rainbow Connection from the Muppet movie, Temple said. But then that song got axed too. It has since been re-added. Come on, Kirby? Or maybe it's all that sexual tension between Kirby and Miss Piggy. You know, is that age appropriate? Come on, Waukesha. You kidding me?
They are not kidding you. They apparently take this anti-inclusiveness very seriously in Milwaukee. It's very controversial, this thought of rainbows and paradise and nice people.
And getting along and trying to do better. Hey, you know what? The administration, they should articulate specifically what the issue is. In the meantime, I'm throwing out some suggestions, man. If they don't want, Rainbow Connection from Kermie or Rainbow Land from Dolly and Cyrus, how about a little Rainbow in the Dark from Dio? That'll get those kids going. Folks, we are the Devil's Advocates, 844-967-2789. We'll be right back.
Continue the conversation online. Find and follow Civic Media on Facebook and on Twitter.
ABC News, I'm Mike Dubusky. President Biden repeating his call to pass a ban on assault weapons after another mass shooting, this time at a private Christian school in Nashville, Tennessee. 7 people killed, including 3 children, and the shooter, who is female. Don Aaron is with Nashville police.
We are efforting now to identify her. She entered the school through a side entrance and traversed her way from the first floor to the second floor, firing multiple shots.
Ashley Beasley and her son were near the school at the time of the shooting. They're from Highland Park, Illinois, the site of another mass shooting less than a year ago.
I have been lobbying in D.C. since we survived a mass shooting in July. I have met with over 130 lawmakers. How is this still happening?
In Mississippi, at least 21 people are dead after an EF4 tornado tore through parts of the state over the weekend. This is ABC News.
Sometimes the truth hurts, but in a good way.
Oh.
This is Mad Radio 92.7 WMDX, the truth you can't ignore.
For Civic Media, I'm Jane McNair. Here's what you need to know. First graders at Waukesha's Higher Elementary School won't be singing the Miley Cyrus Dolly Parton duet Rainbow Land at the spring concert. Fox 6 reporting Waukesha School District Superintendent Jim Siebert confirmed the song was dropped from the list because of a specific school board policy saying, quote, it was determined that Rainbow Land could be perceived as controversial, unquote. The concert is in May. An investigation into alleged racism at a March 3rd playoff game between Beloit Memorial and Muskego High School is over. Muskego School Superintendent Dr. Kelly Thompson out with a statement last week saying the investigation didn't find enough evidence to prove racism came from the Muskego High School student section, but acknowledged unsportsmanlike behaviors. Beloit basketball players took photos and videos of swastikas and the N-word written in dust at the tops of lockers, but the district says it couldn't identify who made them or if they were targeting the Beloit players. I'm Jane McNair. This is Civic Media News.
The Civic Media team would like to say congratulations. More than 200 Wisconsin businesses and nonprofits are receiving a free advertising campaign through our one-day $1 million advertising giveaway. If you missed out, our local sales team would still love to help you with your own campaign. Go to civicmedia.us and click on the sponsorship tab. Again, civicmedia.us and sponsorship. New and still growing, advertise today with the Civic Media network of radio stations.
It's sad, isn't it? When a candidate falls behind and starts airing misleading, negative attacks that are completely false. This year, that candidate is Dan Kelly. Dan and his friends are trying to scare you about Janet Protasewicz. They don't want you to know that Janet Protasewicz spent 25 years prosecuting dangerous criminals. Dan just wants to feed you a dirty pack of lies because he can't stand on his own record. Did you know Dan Kelly got rich defending child sex predators? It's true. And Kelly is an extremist who compared Social Security to welfare, saying seniors on Social Security and Medicare have, quote, chosen to retire without sufficient assets. So, Dan Kelly, if you're listening, listen closely. We're going to fight your lies with something you might find remarkable. It's called the truth.
Paid for by Janet for Justice.
Dad, I picked up your pills, made your lunch, and your laundry is done.
When you care for a loved one, you take care of everything. But are you taking care of yourself? Find free care guides at aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Kicking ass and taking names since the Wisconsin Uprising. The Devil's Advocates.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates radio show, a Charlie Barron's Monday night at the Comedy Club on State. Civic Media presents. If you didn't get your tickets, too late now, fellas and ladies. Too bad, but you can listen. We'll play it out live this weekend, Saturday and Sunday at noon on the Civic Media stations. And Dom, as I've made it very clear, I don't want to live in Rainbow Land.
You can't make me live in Rainbow Land.
Don Brown, our friend, a Civic Media host in his own regard. Don, your community of Waukesha, your beloved Waukesha, what the hell's wrong with them, Don? What's going on here?
Hey, Don.
Hey, Mike. Hey, Don. It's embarrassing, and here's the worst part is, and this data comes from the state, 40% of Waukesha district students are not proficient or advanced in English language arts. 41% of students in the district are not proficient in math. 60% of economically disadvantaged students are not proficient or advanced in English language arts. But our school board's going to focus on what songs are being taught to higher elementary first graders. Spock should be so logical, don't you think?
Don, what is this impetus? Where would the controversy from Rainbow Land come? Would it be the acknowledgement that there are gay people amongst us, or where do you think the controversy is coming from here, Don?
Like, gay isn't actually in the lyrics, to my understanding, but go ahead, Don.
No, I went through the whole lyrics, and there's not anything in there that comes right out and says gay but you know, they've had issues with the whole gender thing or transgender LGBTQ, and they passed something a couple of months ago that was very silly, or they considered something. I'm not even sure it was constitutional, but yeah, they're heading down a very slippery slope.
When's the book banning start, Don?
Well, yeah, that's next. I mean, it's you know, they actually there was a school board meeting where a bunch of people spoke, and I think it was all teachers last year, on why they're quitting. Like 70 people, and the very first topic of discussion after public comment was talking about banning certain books in the libraries. So yeah, it's there's an election coming up, and hopefully we'll get some more balance in there, but it's really quite sad.
Don, is there any the reporting has not indicated what about the lyrics or even about the person that they're objecting to? I mean, is it standard practice for these kinds of things to, you know, someone made a decision and they're not telling anybody why or about what? I mean, are we going to ask? Are you asking for specifics here? Or is this just going to get, you know, swept under the rug as just another, you know, hey, it's Waukesha, just let it go?
Yeah, no, I think they've crossed too many lines, and I think more people are going to stand up. I mean, there have been movements, you know, people I know that are getting more involved and trying to get people to run. And yeah, so, but it's mind-boggling. You know, you'd like them to prioritize, and those metrics I shared with you are very real. There's an education gap. And so really at a very high level, would you rather have the school board focusing on happy songs that children sing? I mean, I sung Puff the Magic Dragon in kindergarten. I turned out okay. You know?
It was a slippery slope, though, wasn't it?
Thanks for the call, Don. Appreciate it. Puff the Magic Dragon. What a wonderful song. Who knew?
967-2789. Dom, I know you suggested Rainbow in the Dark because you're sort of a metalhead. But do people have suggestions? What song should be acceptable and what?
Right. I think it's a fair question. Maybe we should ask him. 844-967-2789. I'm a big Rainbow in the Dark guy. And we could stay on topic Rainbow, or it could be anything. These are first graders, right? I mean, how bad could it be? A little Ronnie James Dio? Hell, he's not much taller than they are in first grade. 844-967-2789. Susan from her car. Hey, Susan, welcome. What do you got for us?
Hey, guys. I just think we should shoot them all with pixie dust so they change their minds. I think this is really getting ridiculous. I mean, that is a beautiful song. And how many children grow up having rainbows? I mean, rainbow ponies and all that.
Well, I know I did.
Yeah, right.
No, I tease. I didn't actually have rainbow ponies, but it seems quite nice.
No, but I mean, but it's called, rainbows are supposed to make you smile. When you see a rainbow, what do? You smile.
Right.
After a storm. I just feel like everybody's getting in their heads too much, and they're worried about little insignificant things instead of the big picture, which is, as the previous caller talked about, is the schools and how the schools have to be giving kids the education they need and not worrying about what books they read, what songs they sing. I mean, I like Purple Rain. I like that song very much. And,
yes.
But they would never, it's an acid song. So, what can you say?
Dom was always more of a When Doves Cry sort of guy.
1999.
Pixie dust. Let's get out the pixie dust so we can change their minds and vote.
And vote. There we go, Susan. We may not change their minds, but we can vote the bastards out. Thank you for the call. 844-967-2789. Some folks on the socials threw some out there. Casey Musgraves, Rainbow. Not clear on that one. Israel is the Hawaiian dude. I don't want to butcher his last name. He did a great song, Somewhere Over the Rainbow. There's lots of different options out there. Purple Rain, I love that song as well. Hell, how about a little Jimi Hendrix, Purple Haze? Let's get to it.
Who's going to play the guitar solo during the first grade concert, though? Unless, Slash is in the class, you're probably limited in some regards. I looked up Strawberry Shortcake. Not the meal, although that does make me a little hungry. I made banana bread last night, but the cartoon, but what was the horses? Because I always think like
Pony, My Ponies, My Little Pony or something like that.
They have a whole rainbow of My Little Pony dolls.
Yes, that's my impression.
They would turn My Little Pony into glue in Waukesha. I'm pretty clear they would. I mean, they were in like a whole rainbow formation. I'm looking at the My Little Pony, like how they're visually represented. The one pony, they had rainbow tails and manes. My Little Pony. You're a My Little Pony guy, I can tell. 844-967-2789. Claire from Madison. Welcome, Claire. What do you got for us?
Hey, Claire.
Hi, Devils.
What do you think?
Was it you and I that did the duet that one time, Claire?
No, that was Betsy, I think.
Oh, Betsy. Betsy and I sang on the air together. We were like Dolly Parton and Miley Cyrus. It wasn't Rainbow Land, though, Claire. It was Doe a Deer, I think. From Sound of Music.
Ooh, watch out, top 40. I'm just thinking, okay, Republicans are always bitching about the Dems being woke. Aren't they being woke right now? I hate that word, by the way.
Well,
in what regard, Claire? Like how?
Like anti-woke in some weird way.
Yeah, I mean, they're putting one and one together, aren't they? Like you said, there's nothing in the lyrics about gay.
But Miley Cyrus is, I guess maybe it's Miley because Miley sang it. If it was just Dolly Parton, But I mean, Dolly dress is kind of risque too. She said that herself. She said if she hadn't been born a woman, she'd be a trans man.
Right. She'd be a drag queen. Yeah. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely outrageous. And it's interesting they aren't giving any specifics.
Right.
Respecting the song. You know.
I'm sorry, that song's not going to work out for us. Can't tell you why.
But try again.
Good luck in your future song endeavors.
Yeah. You can play whatever you want, but you got to check with me first. Thanks for the call, Claire. 844-967-2789.
It's not me. It's you.
Who's your Bob? You're up. Welcome. What do you got for us today?
Hey, Bob.
Hey, boys. How are you?
Good.
If they're losing their mind over this little song, there's two things. One, I wouldn't mess with Dolly Parton's platform. She's got a big, big following. Number two, they would absolutely lose their shizzle if you play Janice Ian's Society Child.
I'm not sure if I know that song. Who's your Bob? Sing a little for us. Hum a little.
It's about a 15-year-old girl in love with a black boy in the 60s.
That doesn't feel like it would play so smoothly, especially down south or perhaps in Waukesha.
It played real well up in the Northeast. I know that, and in Chicago. I mean, it was a nationwide hit. But
well, who's your Bob? You got anything else for us, man? What song should they play in Waukesha? The one you mentioned before, or a different one?
Reaping in the Sheaves? I don't know. I mean, come on. If you can't put up with a kindergarten song from Dolly Parton and Miley Cyrus, what can you handle?
You know what they would not handle? Like the Muppet Swedish Cook. The boy, if you're going to live in America, you got to learn the language.
That's the accent. Here's some lyrics I found that perhaps I can shed some light. Let's see. Living in a rainbow land where you and I go hand in hand. Oh, I'd be lying if I said this was fine. All the hurt and the hate going on here. We are rainbows, me and you, every color, every hue. Let's shine on through. Together we can start living in a rainbow land.
I don't like that shining on the outside.
No, it's too shiny. Skies are blue and things are grand. Wouldn't it be nice to live in paradise where we're free to be exactly who we are? Let's all dig deep down inside, brush the judgment fear aside. We did that one already.
That's the part they object to in Waukesha. Hardly no one's ever called Waukesha paradise. I mean, not a half bad little town, but no one's ever called it paradise. Perhaps they're worried that, left to their own devices, people would flee Waukesha down.
Brush the judgment and fear aside. Isn't that what we're teaching kids? And isn't that what the major religion in this country is apparently supposed to teach the children?
Depends on which one. God does a lot of judging, but
judge not lest ye be judged yourself, I think is one of the things I remember from my Catholic high school.
Yeah, but you were a bad theology.
But I was really good at math because the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit is not one God. That's three. 844-967-2789. I know we got some callers. Evan's getting to you. We'll keep taking more calls. I'm wondering what song, Crudy, what song would you play?
Well, I do have some political headlines. I'd like to turn our attention towards the 8th special, the 8th Senate race in the state of Wisconsin. And your boy, Dan Knodel, I'm pretty sure you pronounced the K.
Yes.
Pretty sure. Dan Knodel says he would consider impeaching Janet Protasewicz if he was elected to the Senate. So kind of mixing his legislature with his judicial. I mean, at least it tells you the kind of guy he is. Can't wait to win the seat so we can go impeach a Supreme Court candidate before she could win office.
Maybe he's concerned she's going to win, but yes, I mean, this is the guy who, with other Republicans, asked the vice president to, set aside, the vote for 10 days. Let the state legislatures figure out what's really going on with these shaky elections.
One thing I know, Dan Knodel refuses to live and sing Rainbow Land. Come back, more Devils.
Oh, Dolly, I'm hot today.
I didn't hear a word she said. I was looking at the James Brown wig.
It's 4 a.m. and you're sucking baby not through a tube because she's congested. If you love her that much, love her enough to make sure she's buckled in the right car seat. Find out more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
It's time to get out the vote with Wisconsin's own Charlie Behrens, Monday, March 27th at 7 p.m. at Comedy on State. Be a part of a Cripescast Live event with Charlie and his guest, journalism professor Mike Wagner. They'll discuss the importance of the upcoming Wisconsin Supreme Court election on April 4th. And, of course, have a ton of fun along the way. Tickets are just $10 with all proceeds going to the Boys and Girls Club of Dane County. A limited number of VIP tickets are $50. Log on MadisonComedy.com. Plus, listen to your favorite Civic Media hosts this week for a chance to win a pair of VIP tickets of your own.
The Devil's Advocates radio show, the last segment of the day. If you got something to say, hit us up right now for your crudités at 844-967-2789.
I thought they were Crudy Takes.
Crudy's Takes. See, man, it all comes back around to Sports Talk Live.
Something like that.
My wife wants some vegetables for crudité.
You know what I mean?
Listen Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. for the Devil's Advocates radio show.
Weather brought to you by Gloria Reyes for Madison Mayor. Say yes to Reyes on April 4th. Let's save Madison's finances. Elect a real progressive. Elect Gloria Reyes for Madison Mayor on April 4th. I'm proudly endorsed by the Wisconsin State Journal. I'm Gloria Reyes, and I approve this message. Say yes to Reyes on April 4th.
Paid for by friends of Gloria Reyes.
Here's your Mad Radio forecast. High temperatures reach up to 53 this afternoon under overcast skies. Southwest winds 8 to 15 miles an hour. Overcast skies tonight. Mixed precipitation likely. Lows around 32. Mixed precipitation likely tomorrow. Daytime highs approaching 42. A dusting of snow tonight through tomorrow with another inch Friday night. For Civic Media, I'm meteorologist Derek Height. Currently, it's 39 degrees.
Think you know politics? Think again. Welcome to the Devil's Advocates.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show. We're going to take some calls at 844-967-2789.
On Friday, though, when we're giving away the Charlie Behrens tickets, we played the most Wisconsin thing ever game, right? We all kind of threw stuff out there. Dom said beer. Well, I got to tell you, the weather we had overnight, we were expecting 14 inches. Like 14 inches of snow we got in Middleton. 14 freaking inches. That is the most Wisconsin thing ever. 844-967-2789. Don't forget, Charlie Behrens playing at the Comedy on State. I think tickets are sold out, so you might be out of luck. But we will replay the live record of the Cripescast this Saturday and Sunday across the Civic Media Network, high noon. Mike from Cedarburg, welcome, sir. What do you got for us?
Hi, Mike.
Well, I think to really get him to blow it, you know what? Play some gangster rap.
What was the one? I can't even remember what movie it was, but I can't repeat any of it. It's none of it FCC friendly. There are some.
There were dry bean nuts too. So. But I would love to see Dolly Parton come up here and sing the song at every recital. I would love it.
I think we all would.
Oh, just the show they did it, how stupid they are.
Well, maybe we should get to inviting Dolly Parton up for a little concert. We could probably play it out statewide at least. Certainly in Waukesha, that for sure is Mike.
Oh, I mean, every day I live, I keep wondering what my dad always used to tell me. The longer you live, the longer you realize people are stupid.
Mike, appreciate your contribution. 844-967-2789. Jeff messaged me. There's some Nicki Minaj songs he'd like to suggest. That WAP one specifically.
WAP.
Charles from Green Bay. Welcome, sir. What do you got for us?
Hey, Charles.
I got you three points. One is, let's play Moni Moni, the original version.
Does anyone even know what they say? Oh, yeah, and see if the parents start swearing out.
Yeah. Then the second one is this, and you guys have been talking about the Rainbow Connection, all this stuff. Well, it's the rainbow, and if you want to get yourself in trouble, they're trying to not encourage their students to be different. I will use those terminologies. And the third point is this: these people are saying all this stuff is bad. All this stuff is not good for their children. When I was teaching school, I had an elder from one of the school districts that I taught in, up in the northern part of the state, and he said to me, he says, "How many fingers are on your hand?" And I said, 5, if you count your thumb. Well, if you point your finger at someone, how many fingers are pointing at that person? 2, which means 40% of all the problems you have in the world, if you want to determine it that way, is the person you're pointing at, and 60% of it falls on you because there's 3 of them in the back underneath there that are pointing back at you. And I will tell you this, when I sat and heard that, I brought that home and used it at my home, raising my children. I brought that to my classroom every day. And guess what? I was teaching so much better when I just said, hey, why can't, does everybody understand this? Kids would raise their hand. No, they don't. Okay, let's try it a different way. So I had to explain it to them in a different way. It might take 3 times, but finally everybody caught on. The people who are say that Rainbow Connection and the Rainbow Song, they've got a real problem in their head, and they should have some help. In Washington.
No, I don't disagree with you, Charles.
Have a great day.
Hey, thanks, man.
I got
a call, Charles.
I don't like doing math on the radio, but here's my math, Charles. 63% of the time, I'm right, and 37% of the time, Dom's right.
Oh, man, we have to go back and pull the tape. It may have started out that way, but I've been catching up over the last few years. 844-967-2789. Don't you think if they're going to have a rejection of these kinds of things and this song, that they should, in fact, articulate a very specific reason why? I mean, these kids want to do it. The teacher wants to do it. Everyone wants to do it. Apparently, and here's another one. If Dolly Parton showed up at Waukesha School during their concert and want to jump on and sing, well, do you think they'd do it? You think they'd cast aside whatever concerns they have to get a picture with Dolly and have her singing with the kids about Rainbow Land?
Maybe Dolly, but probably not Miley Cyrus. The implication was Miley's the problematic one. Although, who knows, because Dolly was supportive of the development of the COVID-19 vaccines.
Well, you never know, man.
That could be a disqualifier for some. You know how it goes, Dom. We've met a few.
844-967-2789. We got some callers holding there yet. Let's get to them if we can. 844.
Who's your Bob? So who's your Bob? I'm got to get ready.
Cutting you off. But there should be some, there should be some articulation, some specificity as to what specifically is a concern. If it's about inclusiveness, I'm pretty sure everybody should be teaching their kids about inclusiveness. I understand, a lot of that hate, kids get that hate, they get that from home. You know what I'm saying? That's where they get that stuff from.
You, Dad, they learned
that. They learned it by watching you.
844-967-2789. Dick from Madtown. How you doing, Dick?
Hey, Dick.
Good. I don't know. LA Woman, Jim Morrison. Some people thought that had some connotations to it that they'd probably get upset with.
Well, they didn't suggest they were going to sing LA Woman, though. No one's doing a LA Woman first grade concert, dude. Come on, you got to pick a better song.
Oh, I don't know. I can't think of it. They're I think their biggest hang-up, guys, is they're so woke that they're beyond us. They're woke about stuff that we don't even need to be awoken about. I mean, this is out of control now, don't you think?
Yeah, but I hate to use the term woke. There's nothing about rejecting Rainbow Land that's woke.
No.
And,
I mean,
and wokeness is not about rejection of stuff. It's supposed to be about inclusivity.
Yes, like Matt Flynn starts his show with, you know how that goes. I mean,
well, tell me more about Matt Flynn's show on the Devil's Advocates. How does it go?
Well, you know how.
I do know. I'm aware. I'm teasing you because you relentlessly bring up other fine products on ours.
I'm sorry.
At least you're known for something, Dick. That in the garage. Final thoughts, fella. Short on time.
None of my teams made it through. Kansas State went down over the weekend.
You are flat broke and bracket busted.
A lot of people are. Thanks for the call, Dick.
I got the NIT world champion Badger, soon to be. They play tomorrow. Final four. We're the last Big Ten team. Come back. The happier happy hour is next.
Terrible idea. Why did you let us do that?
I learned it by watching you.
Carjackings, theft, shootings. Crime in Milwaukee is soaring. Criminals are being put back on the streets by liberal judges like Janet Protasewicz, who care more about woke politics than law and order. Too often, liberal judge Janet Protasewicz has refused to put convicted felons behind bars, only for them to re-offend. And Judge Janet says she has no regrets, while our communities suffer consequences. There's only one candidate in Wisconsin's Supreme Court race that puts the law before politics and victims over criminals. That's constitutional conservative Dan Kelly. Dan Kelly is endorsed by law enforcement and can be trusted to restore law and order. We can't afford to let woke liberal judge Janet Protasewicz on our highest court. It's time to take back our streets, restore law and order, and vote conservative Dan Kelly for Wisconsin Supreme Court. Fair Courts America paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidate's agent or committee. faircourtsamerica.org.
You're listening to Mad Radio, WMDX 1580 AM Columbus, W224EG Madison, and always streaming on the Civic Media app.
ABC News Now, I'm Derek Dennis. Police in Tennessee say a 28-year-old Nashville woman opened fire in a private Christian school, killing 3 adults and 3 children before police arrived and shot and killed her. ABC's Pierre Thomas says mass shootings in this country have reached epidemic proportions.
We're now seeing mass shootings defined as 4 more people shot and or killed in a single incident now becoming a part of the national norm. So far this year, 3 months into the year, there have been 128 mass shootings. Same period this time last year, 112. So this is an ongoing issue. It's not only a law enforcement issue, it's becoming a public health issue because in one of the recent years, death by gunfire was the leading cause of death of young people in this country.
Police say they believe the shooter was a former student. In Israel, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says he will pause his controversial plan to reform the judiciary, saying he wants to avoid civil war by making time to seek a compromise. This is ABC News. More protests in France today. Demonstrators are angry over the government's plans to raise the retirement age from 62 to 64. A warning about the latest health trend on TikTok.
Well, it certainly sounds promising.
These honestly might have just changed my life.
That woman on TikTok singing the praises of ashwagandha, an herbal supplement grown in Africa believed to help with stress and anxiety.
I just was more mellow and more nonchalant.
However, some people say when they took it, they felt detached, tired, and nauseous.
The ashwagandha is working. I think it's working too well.
ABC News medical contributor Dr. Stephanie Widmer says the side effects others experienced included
emotional blunting and lack of finding pleasure in just everyday daily activities.
Like other supplements, ashwagandha is not regulated by the FDA. You should talk to your doctor before using it. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
A small study finds that drinking at least 1 cup of coffee per day might make you move a bit more, but you'll likely get less sleep. I'm Derek Dennis, ABC News.
Local radio for your community. Civic Media broadcasting across the state of Wisconsin.
For Civic Media News, I'm Terry Bell. Here's what you need to know.
Lawmakers appear more united about taking action against the owners of the TikTok social media app. Wisconsin Congressman Mike Gallagher tells ABC's This Week that the CEO's testimony last week did nothing to quell privacy concerns. The special election for Wisconsin's 8th Senate seat will have statewide implications. A Republican Senate supermajority could launch impeachment proceedings against Democrats from Governor Evers to Milwaukee County DA John Chisholm.
I've already called for his resignation. The judges, the circuit court judges, I think have failed the community by releasing or not having a high enough bail on these criminals.
Republican Dan Knodel is running against Democrat Jody Haber-Sinkin. Both candidates were on up front yesterday. In sports, the Bucks are at Detroit tonight. I'm Terry Bell, and this is Civic Media News.
Accidents can be life-changing, no matter how careful you are. But with Gingras Thompson and Walks, you're not alone. For decades, they've been fighting for the rights of people just like you. They'll let you focus on your recovery while they handle the legal complexities. If you or a loved one has been hurt or killed due to someone else's negligence, contact them now. You may deserve compensation.
Calling to win, Gingras Thompson and Walks, GTWlawyers.com.
Madison, a city of culture, the Vilas Zoo, the Arboretum, and then there's us. This is Mad Radio 92.7 WMDX.
Do you love getting rewards when you shop? Then shop Knucklehead CBD and vapes with the Knuckleheads Club. Every $10 spent gets you closer to 25% off. No matter what you buy, make sure you buy Knuckleheads. Stop in Saturday and Sunday and get 15% off Wellness and Wellness Plus, including Delta 8, THCP, CBD, and more, while getting points towards your next purchase. Knucklehead CBD and Vapes, your one-stop smoke shop, located at 520 State Street in Madison. No matter what you buy, make sure you buy Knuckleheads.
I'm Corey Bang from Mad Radio 92.7 WMDX, and here are some events that are coming up in the area. Go check out on March 27th, David Landau's family concert at the Harmony Bar and Grill. Show starts at 5:30 p.m. On March 28th, stop on into the Capitol for the Wisconsin Day of Empathy that takes place from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Also, on March 28th, go check out University of Wisconsin's Day of Badger celebration that takes place at Union South from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. From now till April 16th, stop on into Dane County Regional Airport for the Flight of Lights. The light display starts at 7:30 p.m. On March 31st, check out the MSDA Madison Stamp Show that's being held at the Doubletree by Hilton Madison East Show starts at 10 a.m. The International Festival from April 1st to April 2nd that takes place at the Overture Center. If you have an event you'd like us to tell others about, let me know. Email me at corey.bank@civicmedia.us or Mad Radio 92.7 WNDX.
Hey, this is Jim Santel. I am the host of Morning Cannolis. Every single Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., we talk about the major stories in law, in government, and the aspiration for justice in America. Delighted to have you join, call in, and be a part of our discussion right here on the networks of Civic Media.
Mad Radio 92.7 programming is produced live in the Solidarity Realty studios. Solidarity Realty, there is an alternative.
Warning, you are about to listen to the greatest radio show ever. And due to contractual obligations and to shield our airwaves and corporate licensees from any semblance of liability, responsibility, and gullibility, we must tell you the views represented on this show are not necessarily those of this station or its management. This radio show contains differing points of view on current political topics, and due to the nature of its contents, it should be heard by everyone. Thank you for listening.
3, 2, 1.
Now live from the Devil Radio Studios in Madison, Wisconsin, where the political party is just beginning. Welcome to the Devil's Advocate Show. Friends proving it's never personal, only politics.
Please allow me to introduce myself.
Here is your host, Mike Crute.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. It's your Get Your Ass Back to Work Monday edition, Dom. But I'm going to a show tonight, Charlie Barron's, presented by Civic Media, Comedy Club on State. If you don't have your tickets, you're going to have to listen to the live taping of the Cripes Cast next Saturday at noon, all across the Civic Media Network. And Dick brought up the word woke. You know, I don't like hanging my hat on the word woke. I don't like the word. I don't like the left or progressives being characterized as woke. But something that I find interesting, new polling out, and a little column opinion from Eugene Robinson at the Washington Post. Despite the GOP backlash, wokeness is winning, Tom. Wokeness is winning. We shall see a little bit from the polling and the opinion column of Eugene Robinson. Wokeness is winning, according to an illuminating new poll that should, but probably won't, make Republican politicians wary of hitching their wagon to anger-fueled cultural wars. The survey conducted this month by the Nonpartisan Research Institute, NORC, at the University of Chicago, with funding, wait for it, from George Soros. No, just the opposite. From the Wall Street Journal, Dom, found that on several hot-button issues related to wokeness, air quotes, substantial majorities of Americans believe our progress toward inclusion and diversity is on the right track. On accepting people who are transgender, 56% of respondents said our society has been about right or has not gone far enough, which should be lumped together as the woke position, in my view, that of Eugene Robinson, because they accept or welcome the way attitudes have changed. What I would call the anti-woke view, see the Waukesha can't play the Rainbow Land. You Dom, that we have gone too far in accepting transgender people. That is held by 43% of those surveyed. And it just gets more woke from there. On promoting equality between men and women, 86% took the woke about right or not gone far enough position, as opposed to just 12% who espouse the anti-woke gone too far view. On accepting people who are gay, lesbian, or bisexual, the poll found respondents to be 69% woke versus 29% anti-woke. Don't say gay. On business, taking steps to promote racial and ethnic diversity, woke beat anti-woke 70% to 28%. And on schools and university, taking steps to promote racial and ethnic diversity, wokeness ruled once again, 67% to 30%. Even on the subject of pronouns, this one I've taken some issue with, Dom. Just call me Crudy. But even on the subject of pronouns, which GOP demagogues have sought to shift from grammatical realm to the political, 58% of respondents were neutral, I would say that's B, or favorable towards the practice of specifying he, him, she, her, or they, them in emails, on social media, or in conversations. 42% were unfavorable. And on the narrower question of being asked to address someone with gender-neutral pronouns, such as they, them, they were, the poll was evenly divided. So people are kind of woke, Dom.
A little more here, Curdy. Let me jump in here. One of the poll's most striking findings, respondents were asked, which of these concerns you more about schools today? And given a choice of two statements, a whopping 61% were more concerned that some schools may ban books and censor topics that are educationally important, as opposed to 36% who are worried more that some schools may teach books and topics that some students or their parents feel are inappropriate or offensive. It is always unwise to take any single poll as gospel. That said, the NORC survey is worth paying attention to because it appears to confirm that what we see and hear all around us, attitudes and language evolves. Americans my age remember a time, for example, when the LGBT community was widely shunned and closeted. My grandchildren, when they reach voting age, will wonder why people ever thought that sexual orientation or gender identity was such a big deal. Does the new poll mean mega activists will stop hectoring school boards, yank classes such as Nobel laureate Toni Morrison's beloved from library shelves? Sigh. Probably not. it still shows a stark partisan divide. 75% of respondents who identified as Republican said we've gone too far in accepting transgender people, as opposed to just 15% of Democrats and 47% of independent voters. Majorities of Republicans also took the gone too far position on gay, lesbian, bisexual acceptance and on promoting diversity in businesses, schools, and universities versus minorities of Democrats and independents who hold those views. So there is an incentive for Republican politicians to keep hammering the wokeness issue in primary contests because that's what the GOP base wants to hear. But Democrats are offended by anti-woke messaging, according to the poll, and independents who decide our elections appear to be unmoved.
What do you think, Dom? Has wokeness won?
Again, I think I don't like the word because there is not a standard accepted definition of the word. I think if you asked a hardcore Republican or hardcore Democrat, that perhaps they would come up with different definitions. So if acceptance and inclusion is woke, if that's the exception and that's how we're defining it here, it would make sense that more people are down. And I just don't, the gone too far in accepting transgender people. I mean, literally, people, why do you care? You know what I mean? What? Who cares? Who cares? Literally, how does it affect you or your family in any way, shape, or form if someone else is transgender or not? If someone else is gay or not? How does that impact you? It does not.
Here are the issues that, from the Wall Street Journal. Let's not forget, they provided the funding, Rupert Murdoch's Wall Street Journal. Some of the eye-popping numbers from their perspective. Patriotism since 1998. It's about the time I got out of the Army Reserves, Tom. From 1998 to 2023, patriotism went from 70% in terms of very important to them, what polled people characterize, 70 to 61% in 2019. That was 4 years ago. Now it's 38%. Another issue that a lot of Christian conservatives are the Republican sorts, right? At least in voting preference. Religion, in terms of very important to people, 62% way back in 98, 48% in 19, 39% in 2023. These are shrinking electorates effectively. You know what I mean? They're much smaller than they used to be. The importance of these front and center wedge issues. Well, we're the real patriots. We embrace the flag. Hell, the former president nearly humped one on stage. They want to wrap themselves in the flag and patriotism. But guess what? When those issues don't have the resonance with the American people anymore, then you got to be anti-woke. You got nothing left to entice them. There's no more good ideas or anything that people want to embrace left with the Republican Party, according to this new polling.
Well, I would also
by the Wall Street Journal.
I would suggest that perhaps because of the hardcore white Christian nationalist types that drape themselves in the flag and carry the Bible and claim that they're the true patriots, that turns other people off to the term. Do you want to be associated with the patriot movement? Do you want to be associated with the 3%ers? You know what I'm saying? That when they when different organizations and cultures take over different words and have their own meanings to it, like if you don't fight for Trump, you're not a true patriot. You know what I mean? Well, guess what? I guess I'm not a true patriot because F that guy. So I think there is the reality. Go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Dom. They don't get the word patriot. You know what? I serve my freaking country. I am far more deserving of that title if I want to grab it, and I do. They don't get to take patriot. They don't get to wrap themselves in a flag lapel pin. What did Scott Walker ever do for this country other than fail in a presidential run? You know what I mean? There's no real patriots. There's a bunch of war hawks, but there's no real patriots that I see amongst these Republicans, so they don't get to take that word. And if they want to make the word woke derisive, they can make the term derisive. We both cringe from that word. I know we do. I know I do. I'll speak for myself. From the word woke, God, I hate that word. But the actual inclusiveness that seemingly represents, hell yeah, I'm down for that. Most of my friends are too. Certainly the vast majority of the people that listen to the greatest radio show ever. If you're not inclusive, go listen to Vicky. 844-967-2789. Jeff from Madison. Are we too woke for you, Jeff?
Hey, Jeff.
Absolutely not. Hey, I want to know, why are we assuming that everybody's all butthurt about Miley? I mean, Dolly was a madam in Texas, and her
best little whorehouse in Texas.
It was. So how do we know that they're not all butthurt about that? And then
I would think, Jeff, if we're using Dolly Parton movies, they're far more butthurt, to use my former vernacular, your current vernacular, about Dolly Parton kidnapping
9 to 5.
9 to 5. They were standing up for women in the workplace. That was sort of a Me Too before Me Too, wasn't it?
Yeah, she poisoned him, or they thought that she poisoned him accidentally and kidnapped him. Yeah. So I just don't want to. I don't want there to be hate on Miley.
Well, if you're going to hate on her because you don't like her music, but not because of the lyrics. I mean, Rainbow Land seems happy enough to me, right?
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it doesn't get any happier than Rainbow Land.
I do not want to sing or be a part of or live in Rainbow Land, and you cannot make me. Come back, more Devil's Advocates. I can make you call 844-967-2789. If you don't, you're not a true patriot.
Congratulations for staying awake all day.
Wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind, like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest. Uh-oh. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. To learn your risk, take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
I grew up hearing that women are bad with money, but I pay bills and take care of my family, so I'm pretty good with money. And now I'm taking control of my financial future by saving for retirement. Jumpstart your retirement savings at WeSaySaveIt.org. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Warning, listening to the Devil's Advocates may expose you to opposing views.
It's scary. Maybe I'm coming a little bit more over the left, but...
Well, it's not left. It's good governance, Steve.
It's good to be exposed to different ideas, and I do appreciate that you do put that out there on the airways, because a lot of times where you just get a little soundbite of this or a little bit of that, and that's the end of it. You're to be commended for that.
Dave, I'm glad you finally come around to commending the greatest radio show ever, man.
Follow the Devil's Advocates on Facebook and Twitter.
Weather brought to you by Gloria Reyes from Madison Mayor. Say yes to Reyes on April 4th. Let's save Madison's finances. Elect a real progressive. Elect Gloria Reyes from Madison Mayor on April 4th. I'm proudly endorsed by the Wisconsin State Journal. I'm Gloria Reyes, and I approve this message. Say yes to Reyes on April 4th.
Paid for by friends of Gloria Reyes.
Here's your Mad Radio forecast. Partly cloudy tonight with lows around 24. Winds out of the southeast around 5 miles an hour. Partly cloudy skies tomorrow, high of 44. Chance of snow tomorrow night, lows around 26. Cloudy skies. Chance of snow Wednesday, chance for mixed precipitation on Thursday. About an inch of snow tomorrow night. For Civic Media, I'm meteorologist Derek Height. Currently, it's 40 degrees.
The Devil's Advocates, radio for the 99%.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show. Taking your calls at 844-967-2789.
Dominic, I hate to do so. We should acknowledge there's been another mass shooting, this one in the Nashville area, apparently at a Christian school. And the unusual part, I would say the unusual part, the mass shooter was a woman. A 28-year-old woman shot and killed 3 children and 3 adult staff members at a school in Nashville, Tennessee on Monday before being killed by police. Authorities are continuing to investigate the shooting, which marks the 17th school shooting in the United States since the start of the year, according to a Washington Post analysis. The shooting occurred at the Covenant School, a private Christian school with grade levels from pre-K to grade 6, totaling about 200 students. The suspect may have attended the school. Metro Nashville Police Chief John Drake said at a press conference Monday the woman who opened fire at the Covenant School may have been a student there at some point. From my initial findings, at one point she was a student at the school. He added that he was unsure what year she may have attended, but said that she was a Nashville resident. He said that the car near the scene gave law enforcement clues into who she was. The woman whose name has yet to be released, although I think they were releasing the name this afternoon. I don't care if we get it out there or not, Tom, but at least it's unusual in that the shooter was a woman. 844-967-2789. Yes, I didn't mean to interrupt, Tom.
ABC News reporting the suspect, a 28-year-old from Nashville, later identified as Audrey Elizabeth Hale, was shot and killed by authorities in a lobby area on the second floor of the school. Nashville Police Chief John Drake said the suspect was female and identified as transgender, but didn't immediately provide more details.
Oh, I can't wait till that hits Fox News tonight. Give them one.
But I mean, if we're going to throw out the mass shootings, let's bring up, Milwaukee here. According to Elliot Hughes, this is from today. 5 people were injured in a shooting outside a Northwest Side restaurant early Monday morning. The second apparent mass shooting in Milwaukee in a week. Police called to the Prime Social Restaurant and Bar on 76th Street at 1:30 in the morning. 5 victims, all hospitalized with non-fatal injuries, were males between 25 and 44.
President Joe Biden, regarding the shooting in Nashville, said the shooting was sick and noted that it was a family's worst nightmare, while reiterating his calls for gun reform and assault weapons ban. 844-967-2789. Let's go to the phone. Steve from Minneapolis, listening on KTNF. Welcome, Steve. What do you got for us?
Hi, Steve.
Brothers. So I want to talk about the word woke, but first I want to tell you where I actually live. I'm 2.5 blocks from George Floyd Square. Now, because my wife sings in a dance band, we do a lot of the outer ring suburbs, and people always want to tell me what happened in my backyard. And I, as calmly as I can, explain, this is my backyard. I know who started the fires. I know who broke the windows. I know what happened. I knew the girl that took the video. And
were they community members, Steve, to your opinion? And some of this is in the public record, but when people say, it was people rioting for George Floyd, how do you respond to them, Steve? What's the reality?
Okay, so the first couple of days afterwards, we had meetings in our block every 6 hours to strategize, because we were finding gasoline in the alleys and stuff like that. And a truck rolled up at one of our meetings, a brand new Ram with filthy Colorado plates. And these guys are all shaved heads, tatted out. And we just confronted them and said, "Who the hell are you?" And they're like, "Oh, we're security for NBC." And we're like, "Oh, no, you're not." We know who you are. And I glance in the truck and there's guns on the floor, and I'm going, "Oh man, we got some stuff going on here." But anyway, the cops wouldn't come here anymore, and I was one of the guys that was out on the street at night. We didn't carry guns or anything. We're just like helping anybody that was in trouble. But it just infuriates me when people tell me what happened here. And sorry, I lived it.
So
now,
what's your opinion of the
woke,
word woke, Steve? I mean, that's the label, right? Yeah. If you supported George Floyd, if you don't want to see people treated badly at the hands of police officers, then you're labeled as woke, and that's now a derisive term. You're woke. So how do you respond to wokeness, Steve?
Well, to begin with, the first time I heard the word was from Oprah Winfrey about 15 years ago. But I recently found out the original use of that word came from Lead Belly in 1938. Regarding the Scottsboro Boys, I don't know if you're familiar with that.
That I'm not.
But
I was going to
they
blame it on
were-
Matt Flynn from about 1938, but please continue, Steve.
Yeah. Well, they were accused of raping a white woman. There were 4 young black guys, and were summarily executed. She later recanted her story. But before they died, Leadbelly had gone to visit them in jail, and I guess it was like the 1938 version of MTV. You know, he's going to play this song, and he said that when you go down to that area as a black person, you best stay woke. Meaning, watch your ass.
Good advice anywhere, anytime, Steve. Really, really appreciate your insights, man. We don't live in Minneapolis. We had Kyle Rittenhouse cross the Wisconsin border, come to Wisconsin, and then claimed he feared for his life and killed a couple people and was exonerated in the criminal courts, but I think the civil courts are going to hammer his ass. Come back, lots of your phone calls, 844-967-2789, more Devils.
In Madison, we love our sports, our food. What are we going to deep fry next? And our politics. We got you covered on that. Mad Radio 92.7 WMDX.
ABC News Now, I'm Derek Dennis. Police in Tennessee say a 28-year-old Nashville woman opened fire in a private Christian school, killing 3 adults and 3 children before police arrived and shot and killed her. ABC's Pierre Thomas says mass shootings in this country have reached epidemic proportions.
We're now seeing mass shootings defined as 4 or more people shot and or killed in a single incident now becoming a part of the national norm. So far this year, 3 months into the year, there have been 128 mass shootings. Same period this time last year, 112. So this is an ongoing issue. It's not only a law enforcement issue, it's becoming a public health issue because in one of the recent years, death by gunfire was the leading cause of death of young people in this country.
Police say they believe the shooter was a former student. In Israel, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says he will pause his controversial plan to reform the judiciary, saying he wants to avoid civil war by making time to seek a compromise. This is ABC News.
You're listening to a radio station that's part of the Civic Media Network. Find more at civicmedia.us.
This is Pat Kreitlow from Up North News Radio, inviting you to join us every weekday morning from 6 to 8 a.m. Up North News is your online home for stories that are unabashedly Wisconsin. We cover the latest out of the state capital, of course, but we also celebrate this amazing state with stories about people and places, food, events, history, and more. You can find our work at our website, upnorthnewswi.com, or search for Up North News WI on social media and subscribe to our newsletter too. Then, each morning, I get you caught up on the latest headlines, plenty of weather checks, a little sports. We do a daily music break and a history lesson. We have newsmakers, insiders, community leaders, and all kinds of other guests and regulars. And we take the time to break down an issue or a story and explain it in plain English. Catch Up North News Radio weekdays 6 to 8 here on the radio, the Civic Media website, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
Accidents can be life-changing, no matter how careful you are. But with Gingras Thompson and Walks, you're not alone. For decades, they've been fighting for the rights of people just like you. They'll let you focus on your recovery while they handle the legal complexities. If you or a loved one has been hurt or killed due to someone else's negligence, contact them now. You may deserve compensation.
Gingras Thompson and Walks, GTWlawyers.com.
Hey, Dom, how many palindromes can you name in 30 seconds?
Race car, mom, dad, reefer, kayak, level. Did I say mom already?
You're forgetting one really important one.
Zero res.
Not only is it the coolest palindrome ever, it's also our favorite.
Right, I remember. Why is that again?
They advertise with us.
Zero res, my favorite palindrome.
And carpet cleaner. Get the best carpet cleaning ever. Schedule your carpet cleaning online at ZeroResMedicine.com. Tell them the Devil's Advocate sent you.
Hey, Darcy, I just saw the perfect house. Can you help me write an offer on it?
I'd be happy to, Brian. Did you see it at an open house?
No, I just called the sign and had the agent show it to me. I didn't want to bug you.
Right. How many times have you heard me say don't call the sign?
All of them?
You called the agent working for the seller, and once you see the property with that agent, I'm no longer free to write an offer on it.
So...
You need to hire us from the beginning, help you find the right home, negotiate on your behalf, and protect your interests all the way through the process, and it shouldn't cost you a dime.
Solidarity Realty. They're real, they're solid, and they're honest. Find them at solidarityrealty.com.
This is Pat Greitlow from Up North News Radio. On the air, online, or on demand, make it a point to catch the first word on Wisconsin news, sports, and more weekday mornings from 6 to 8 all across the stations of the Civic Media Radio Network.
Occupy didn't start on Wall Street. It started on our street, the Devil's Advocates.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show, the Monday Happy Hour. Is that it? Your calls, welcome here, 844-967-2789. Polling tells us woke is winning. But of course, I read the headline nearly every day, and people are dying and can't seem to move that needle, despite the overwhelming desire of the electorate to feel safe. But we can't seem to move that one either. Also, one other headline, Dom, the Trump grand jury, the Alvin Bragg grand jury in Manhattan, reconvened. You see who their witness was today?
David Pecker, the National Enquirer guy.
The unfortunately named David Pecker. The head of the CEO of America Media Incorporated and a longtime Trump ally. He's the catch and kill guy, right?
I thought Trump said that Bragg was going to drop the case. I guess maybe Trump lied again. Weird.
Why would anyone ever give any credibility, be it a prediction of his pending arrest or something else?
Crudy, let's get to some callers. 844-967-2789. Let's go to a recognizable source, the Merriam-Webster dictionary. And I looked up woke, and here is how Merriam-Webster defines it today. Chiefly U.S. slang. Aware of and actively attentive to important societal facts and issues, especially issues of racial and social justice. Often used in contexts that suggest someone's expressed beliefs about such matters are not backed with genuine concern or action. Of course, the derisive way, fake woke, right? In a disapproving way, you look at this, a politically liberal, as in matters of racial and social justice, especially in a way that is considered unreasonable or extreme. So if Merriam-Webster is defining this as a derisive, as the Republicans, as the MAGA looks at it, apparently this is because if you're woke, you are considered unreasonable or extreme. But I also prefer the original one, that you are attentive and aware of important societal facts and issues, especially regarding racial and social justice. Merriam-Webster, let's go with that definition.
I'm going to go to L.A. Tom, our friend on the woke leftist coast. Tom, you got two of my kids this week. I got Karsten on the coast visiting Kelsey kid.
Hey, Tom.
Awesome. Hey, guys. First off, we the people ultimately are the government, and we must never forget that. Second, I think the reason why they're using this word woke is because, once again, the Republicans try to jump on something before it comes out. And honestly, they don't want people to be woke. They don't want people to be attentive. They don't want the billionaire class does not want for we the people to be awake and actually seeing the scam that actually is going on in this country. And so therefore they go and take the word woke and put it on offense. So therefore they think that people on the left are not even going to or just general people are not going to start using that word.
But Tom, don't you
start using that word in a larger context and start actually saying what it really is?
But the anti-woke, the Ron DeSantis of Florida, much like Scott Walker here in the state of Wisconsin, wanted so desperately to be that conservative, right? Wants to be the presidential nominee of the Republican Party. But the Republican Party is making itself nearly unelectable. If it wasn't Donald Trump, these anti-quote unquote woke policies of Ron DeSantis, they're entirely unpopular outside of the small GOP base, Tom. But that's who they're pandering to.
Oh, I completely agree with you. But the thing is, the billionaire class who's running this country right now, who I think we should be having a class war with, to tell you the truth, because their group of people have actually won the war. That we have got to figure out a way to actually wake up the people that are around us and use the word woke the proper way that it's actually supposed to be used, and the way that the word has been traditionally used, for eons. And we need to stop allowing them to define language, and we need to define the language. I mean, it's very, very simple. Woke is a verb.
But Tom, can't we? I don't disagree with any of your assessment there, but here's what I would say. Rather than trying to reappropriate the word woke and somehow make it palatable to the greater electorate, why don't we just start fresh? Why don't we pick a new word? Means the same thing. How about just humanist or something of that sort, Tom? Can't we just be humanist?
I say we go on. I think we go on offense with the word woke, and we go by what I mean. Woke is, like I said, if you're waking up, if you're getting a glass of, or when I think of woke, I think of a person that actually did that ice challenge thing where all of a sudden the water got poured on them and they woke up and they realized that money in politics was actually the real root of the problem with all of this. And I hope people wake up. I hope everyone wakes up and realizes, even on the conservative side, don't be afraid of the real word woke, conservatives, because you better all wake up. Otherwise, we'll continue to have this.
I'm sorry, Tom. I actually would have hit a cough button. I was about to cough on you.
Thanks for the call, Tom.
I'll look out for Kelsey and Karsten while he's out there. I don't think
they're on woke now because cancel culture didn't, it's not hitting as much as it used to. They're just on to the next thing, man.
844-967-2789. Randall from Portage, welcome.
Hi, Randall.
Hey, Devils, a long-time listener, first-time caller. I heard you guys back during the uprising when you first started out.
Well, thank you, Randall. Appreciate it.
With regard to rainbows, I think we need to have, like any war, we need to have terms of engagement with the Republican Party. It seems like who else but the Republican Party could weaponize rainbows? So they weaponized rainbows, and a large faction of the people weaponizing rainbows are evangelical Christians. And the first reference to rainbows is it's a covenant between God and man that he would not destroy the world again with a flood. Now, how can a good Christian look at a rainbow and say it's a bad thing? I'm confused.
That's a great question, Randall. Crudy?
First call ever, Randall, and you stumped the panel. Like, I've got no response. No, that seems like a great way to take the conversation biblically. I always love throwing the Bible back in their face, right?
They respond to that.
Yes, I concur, because I've got no better answer.
Well, I got one here. A buddy Haas emailed today. There's 33 Bible verses about rainbows in the Holy Book, according to our buddy Haas, and I believe him because he has credibility.
Why are there so many psalms about rainbows?
I mean, and Kermit. Oh my, 844-967-2789. Let's keep going on the phones. Who's next? I believe the most patient caller has been Jim from Appletown. Hey, Jim, welcome. What do you got for us?
Jim?
Hi, guys. How are we doing tonight?
Good, thank you.
I can't argue with the last caller about rainbows. I think he put that perfectly. But I want to go back a little farther to the shooter. I feel bad for all the people that died. But it was a religious school. Having been a survivor of a religious school, I got to wonder what pushed her over the edge to take out other students.
And
instead of
it's
administration.
Jim, there's a long way to leap from here, but the initial reports are that she was transgender, and one must wonder how inclusive this Christian elementary school would have been to a young transgender woman of, let's say, 5th grade age. You know what I mean? I don't think it was embracing of her.
No, I wouldn't have been. It wouldn't have been at all.
Now,
As I said,
I that's certainly not a justifiable motive. Never is. You know what I mean?
No.
I don't care if it was bullying, ostracization, whatever it is. That never justifies going into a school and killing 9-year-olds. But Jim, I would wonder if that. Apparently, there was a quote unquote manifesto written, so I think we'll understand the motives better in the short run.
well, I hope there was a manifesto written, and as I said earlier, why the students and not the administration?
Well, it was 3 adults and 3 children, and then the police dispatched, meaning they killed the shooter in this case. The man, I don't even like talking about it. I'm sorry. 844-967-2789. Bill from Madison. Welcome, Bill. What do you got for us?
Hey, Bill.
Hi, you guys are killing it as always. Excuse the, oh, that's a terrible pun. I also wanted to comment on the shooter. I don't know if you guys have put this information together or not yet, but about 3 weeks ago, Rachel Maddow did a little expose on a freshman representative in the House, this Andy Ogles, I think is his name. People are calling him like the new George Santos because he's been, stretching the truth about his qualifications and his experience. He keeps calling himself a economist, and he doesn't have any training or degree in economics, and he claims he graduated from all different kinds of places, which he didn't do. They did a little research and found that he took one economics course at a community college and got a C, and he has a degree in liberal arts or something, not business administration or anything that might give him some insight. Well, turns out what's his area? What place does he represent? It's Nashville, and not only that, he sent out a Christmas card with his family this year. Everybody's holding assault rifles, even the kids.
Yeah, Bill, I saw some of that on the social medias today. I believe the youngest of perhaps a family of 5, maybe 6, the very youngest was holding a book. She looked to be about maybe 4 or 5 years old. But yes, I saw that picture. Everybody's holding a gun because, why not? It's Christmas. What kind of gun would Jesus hold? Thanks for the call. 844-967-2789. Catherine from Madison, Europe. Welcome, Catherine. What do you got for us?
Catherine.
Hi. I was calling because my daughter actually lives in Nashville, and my granddaughter was in high school when this happened. And so it was really disturbing to them. And I just wanted to remind everyone that there are all these people that are suffering terribly, but there's a lot of collateral damage to the community. People are all reminded of sudden deaths of their children or things, and it's just crazy. But I was calling about what the previous caller actually said, that this congressman did send out a Christmas card with a picture, and one of the people in the picture was a young woman, one of his daughters, holding a huge rifle. So, that's what's going on there. But yeah, at any rate, that's what I was calling about, and it's just going to happen more and more, and we find it getting closer and closer to home. My brother-in-law almost went to the 4th of July thing in Highland Park in Illinois,
No.
that parade, and they just didn't go at the last minute, but they were planning to go, so it's so common. It's really touching all of us, if not directly, indirectly too. So that's a
Oh, statistically, Catherine, sorry to cut you off here. We got to hit a brick. Statistically, if we wait long enough, it'll impact everyone personally. So maybe then we'll do something about it. I did see or hear on, I think it was MSNBC, one of the cable channels, a lady who was from Highland Park, Illinois, who was at that, survivor of that mass shooting down in Nashville on vacation with some of her family. Also now, of course, being very close to that shooting, was there talking to some of the press as well. I mean, as mentioned, of course, there was two mass shootings, I believe, here in the Milwaukee area. I mean, come on. I mean, we can't do mass shooting shows every day because they happen every single day. We would literally talk about nothing else. When you kill the 9-year-olds, that's something. Folks, we are the Devil's Advocates, 844-967-2789. We'll be right back.
Life had a remote control. You could pause or rewind. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Time to get out the vote with Wisconsin's own Charlie Behrens, Monday, March 27th at 7 p.m. at Comedy on State. Be a part of a Cripescast Live event with Charlie and his guest, journalism professor Mike Wagner. They'll discuss the importance of the upcoming Wisconsin Supreme Court election on April 4th. And, of course, have a ton of fun along the way. Tickets are just $10 with all proceeds going to the Boys and Girls Club of Dane County. A limited number of VIP tickets are $50. Log on MadisonComedy.com. Plus, listen to your favorite Civic Media hosts this week for a chance to win a pair of VIP tickets of your own.
The Devil's Advocates, the fix for political junkies everywhere.
You recall the Capitol insurrection? A post-ABC News poll showed 54% said Trump should be criminally charged for inciting the riot. That's like a litany of criminal allegations against the former president. You can say it's all partisanship and a witch hunt, but there wasn't one credible accusation against Obama during his entire 8-year term. So how Republicans just ignore all the evidence? I mean, he was perpetrating a coup on multiple levels.
Follow the Devil's Advocates on Facebook and Twitter.
Weather brought to you by Gloria Reyes from Madison Mayor. Say yes to Reyes on April 4th. Let's save Madison's finances. Elect a real progressive. Elect Gloria Reyes from Madison Mayor on April 4th. I'm proudly endorsed by the Wisconsin State Journal. I'm Gloria Reyes, and I approve this message. Say yes to Reyes on April 4th.
Paid for by friends of Gloria Reyes.
Here's your Mad Radio forecast. Lows dip down to about 25 tonight under partly cloudy skies, southeasterly winds around 5 miles an hour. Sunny skies tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 45. Chance of snow tomorrow night, 26. Chance of snow Wednesday. Chance for scattered rain showers on Thursday. About an inch of snow tomorrow night. For Civic Media, I'm meteorologist Eric Height. Currently, it's 40 degrees.
The Devil's Advocates, tackling the issues you're not allowed to talk about at the dinner table.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show. Phone lines open, 844-967-2789.
Let's go to them. Terry from Minneapolis, perhaps listening on AM 950 KTNF. Terry, welcome. What do you got for us?
Hey, Terry.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Listen, first of all, I want to say you guys, I am a long-time listener. I listen to you every day, and you make truth and facts fun to listen to.
Well, thank you.
Thanks, man.
No greater compliment other than sexy. We are sexy.
Well, okay, you're sexy too.
All right.
Anyway, what I wanted to ask you is, now I graduated from the University of Minnesota several years ago with a political science degree and a minor in history. And from my understanding, when Hitler took power in 1933, he was in the Nationalist Party. Now, my question is, you get these people calling them Christian nationalists. How can you be a nationalist, which was in that realm, was a Nazi, and be a Christian at the same time? I can't believe. I'm a Christian. I'm a gay Christian. I'll tell you that right now. But I can't understand how some people can call themselves a Christian nationalist. To me, that they're calling themselves Christian Nazis, unless I'm misunderstanding that. Could you clarify that for me?
Well, very few, I think, probably mean to wrap themselves in the KKK cloak or the white nationalist cloak, but that doesn't mean that they don't have these beliefs in place and that they're not joining up militias and things of the sort, Terry, and marching in the streets. Do you see that Donald Trump went to Waco, Texas, the site of the whole Branch Davidian thing under Janet Reno many years ago, and was playing video at the rally of the January 6th, putting it in a positive light. Like, here's what you could do.
Right. Yep. Well, I mean, all you had to do is go to Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson did a pretty nice job of putting it into a positive light.
Well, I think
You
he's
know, I mean-
inspiring it in real time, and the only sort of it's not a parallel. The only line I can draw from Christianity to Donald Trump is he's somehow God's broken white Christian nationalist vessel. You know, he hates all the right people that they hate, so God must love him.
Well, I think my personal opinion. I personally think God is disgusted with him, but you know, that's just me. But anyway, guys, thanks for your time. You do a great show. I listen to you every day, and I try to talk to all the people I know and to listen to you because you're great.
Terry, really appreciate that. And don't forget sexy.
Appreciate it, Terry. Yeah, the Trump Davidians, man. I saw that as a headline on the Drudge Report today. The Trump Davidians. Let me just throw this one out there, and I don't mean to insult those who are faithful. If you're faithful, that's fine. But I think there is a certain sentiment among the faithful, if you're a believer, to fall for this kind of stuff. I don't know how else to put it. You know what I'm saying? I don't see a lot of, atheists or those that are not Christians thinking that somehow, God is or Trump is somehow, God's chosen vessel for the white nationalists. I think there is that mindset. It's very malleable. There's a reason why the preachers on Sundays have always made all sorts of money telling you to give them money. And what does Trump do when he said he was going to get arrested? He got $1.5 million in like the first week. So I think there's a mindset. Curdy, I don't mean to insult, but that's my opinion.
I think you just called me sheeple.
I think you have to have an open mind to that kind of thing. I don't buy it at all, so I'm not fixed by it.
I have a quick thought on this topic. As someone who has some modicum of faith, and it's not a perfect walk, far from,
Yeah, right.
But here's what I would say. First and foremost, faith requires the setting aside of logic for a moment. And I know that's foreign to you. Why would one turn off one's logical brain and ever trust a feeling over logic? But that's effectively what faith is. It's setting aside a certain aspect of logic. When I actually, as a grown man, made a conscious thought process to, find God, if you will, in part, it was because a minister had brought me to part of the Bible, Corinthians. You can't think your way to God. You can't, whatever. It is an act of faith. So if the implication is that people of faith are willing to set aside, quote unquote, what the news reports tell them, because they are motivated by what God tells them, what the Bible tells them. They're not looking for an external, other than God, sort of reinforcement. They believe that they're following God's will. So that takes an act of faith. You got to believe the guy exists in the first place. So yes, there is, it's kind of like going to the movies. You got to have a certain sense of setting aside your disbelief for a moment.
Yeah, but the popcorn tastes a whole lot better than that dry ass wafer, man.
Body of Christ.
Thank you.
You ever watch Miss Maisel?
Oh yes, I have. Very entertaining.
The guy, the actor that plays the father of Mrs. Maisel, who is Jewish, as this particular casting would have him in this show, fell upon walked into a church trying to avoid something, and there's a line of people, didn't realize he was in the communion line, walked up to the front, kneeled down. The priest gave him the wafer, and he held on to it for days. He was, as a practicing Jewish man, he was completely struck by what do you do with the body of Christ? You can't throw it down the garbage disposal, right? It's the body of Christ. So anyways, body of Christ.
That's the guy from Wings, right?
And Monk.
And Monk, yeah, totally. Awesome actor.
789 Wisco Paul, a man of some faith. You believe the beer is going to be cold and it'll taste good.
Hey, Paulie.
Hey, great show today. Yes, I do believe that, especially at Spotted Cow. But I'll make this quick. If you're still on board with it, right? If you're still on board after Waco with the orange guy, I seriously think you need some help, because if Waco didn't end all your belief in that man, I don't know what would, because that was some serious.
Now, are we talking about Trump or David Koresh at this point?
Either, but I'm talking Trump. That was some serious bad stuff he did on this weekend, in my opinion. So I don't know how you could be on board after that, but I guess stranger things have happened. So, hey, great show again today. I love listening to you guys because you're funny and entertaining.
Don't forget sexy.
Appreciate it, fella. Why do people always leave out the sex?
I don't know. We'll have to remind them. Woke and sexy AF, baby. That's how we roll.
Looking forward to a funny AF sort of evening. Charlie Barron's at the Cripes Cast at the Comedy on State. I'll be there for the live taping. If you won free tickets, make sure you say hi to yours truly. I'll be in the back. Find me near the bar. I'll be holding it up. Stick around. We got some fine programming left tonight on Civic Media. The Paul Revere Show with Mark Thompson at 7. Native Roots Radio. In the meantime, keep it locked. Civic Media.
Hey, this is Matt from Design Garden. Remember when the internet was new? Back then you